I'm not buying yarn this year. I'm not going to do it. And this is why. I've gotten all the yarn out from everywhere and I now have to count it all. So I'm stressed. I'm actually so stressed and I don't know how I'm going to do it because there's also yarn in here. I'm going to count every single skein, whether it's finished or not, and that's going to be my total count. The count has begun and so far I have 40 in that and 70 in that. Here we go. Any guess on the final numbers? I'm pretty mortified at how much yarn I have. Drum roll, please. 618 skeins of yarn, and they do include these half or quarter balls of yarn that I've used just because it was too hard to try and figure out how to count them. So every single item of yarn is accounted for in that number. So it's going to be a big year of me getting through this yarn stash and hopefully I can clear a lot of it. I got a new desk that actually fits the space and isn't broken, and I've put my yarn stash. The first topic I'm going to cover off is why. The reason I'm doing a yarn stash is, well, there's a few. The first one is I ran out of space. My whole office was just clutter. It was just full of yarn and paper and I didn't want it anymore. It was making me stressed. So I decided the best idea was to use up a lot of the thing that was taking up space, the yarn. So what I've done is I've moved all my yarn out of the room and then put it back and ordered it in a way that makes sense to me. I've put all the wearable yarn together, all the plushy yarn together and grouped it by brand and category and that kind of thing. So I counted all my yarn ball by ball or skein by skein while I did this, and I have 630 skeins of yarn. That in itself is a reason to do a yarn destash. I also love a challenge. Give me a challenge. I find it fun. My brain likes having novel and new things to hook onto and compete with and tick off. So that's another reason. The last reason is I just didn't want to contribute to overconsumption, and I didn't want to spend for the sake of spending or for chasing dopamine. I think when you are a fiber artist, you add yarn collecting to part of the hobby, and I love my yarn stash, but it's time to destash. The next part of this video is how I'm going to do it. So I came up with a template. I will link it in the description box below if you want to buy it. It's a few dollars on my Etsy shop. So I can add in how many balls of yarn I've used each day and then do the total amount of money I spent on yarn for the month, the amount of money saved, and the amount left in my stash. I'm also going to do a update video every 3 months. That's to make sure that I'm keeping myself accountable, that I'm reviewing my goals, what's going well, what's not. And it's also there for anyone else who's doing a yarn destash and wants a little bit of a companion to do it with. Companion? And who wants a companion to do it with. The last thing I wanted to touch on is exceptions. I do have some little exceptions. The first one is if I receive a voucher. So generally for a birthday or Christmas or whatever, people know that I hoard yarn and they give me spotlight vouchers or money for yarn. That's an exception. I can buy yarn with a voucher if I'm given one for my birthday or 2 or 3. The other exception is I'm still going to be buying Premier Basics yarn that I use to make the Della Duck, that I use to make the baby Della Ducks. My most popular item. It's my favorite item to make, and I'm anticipating I'll be making more in 2026. Just that item only, I'm allowed to restock. The last exception is if I make a cardigan, for example, and I need 1 ball of a specific yarn. So that project doesn't go to waste, I'm allowed to buy that, but it has to be specifically for that project and only as a last resort. Like I need to exhaust my yarn collection and make sure that I don't have anything I can use, and then I can use it if in emergency to finish a project. But I'm really going to try and avoid doing that. So that's my yarn destash update. I will keep you all up to date on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. I think at the end of this challenge I might look into donating some of my yarn. I have done it before. I donated about 4 giant bags to a cat shelter. They make cat beds, so I gave that away for free. I might also look into realistically what I have used and what I haven't, and maybe donate a few bags of yarn to a thrift shop Thanks for sticking around for this long. I am nervous, but I'm very excited about this challenge, and I hope you are too. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate your support, and if you see me out and about buying yarn, just kick me. No, Lissy. Can you tell that I've been in my own company for too long?